Trill Pill Podcast, back with another one, man. Hope y'all enjoy this one. I'm trying to work on keeping these episodes short, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I can get this whole on any fucking topic, or any good topic that I bring up and research and read about all day, and I go rambling on. It's all good. You know, just fast forward to the parts that you like and parts that you don't like. That's fine with me. In the meantime, in between time, shout out to everybody that support me. Shout out to everybody who support me on Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Captivate, Stitcher, Radio Public, Breaker, YouTube, any streaming platform. You should, like, share, subscribe, all that shit. Don't matter which one, wherever you find me, just like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We're going to slow smoke this shit like brisket. You understand me? See, we ain't in no rush to get a whole lot. Get a whole lot in a little bit of time. I like this to be very organic. I like people to give me feedback on, what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these things, man, like I said, man, I'm a constant work. We all constant works on ourselves, man. Ain't nobody perfect. So when people say, oh, he trying to do this, or he trying to do that, no, I'm not trying to do anything but besides what I'm already doing. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to talk to my people, about this shit the way that I want to talk about it, the way that we want to talk about it. I ain't got a whole lot of fancy words and terminology and all that shit. I just speak like myself because I am myself. You understand? And sometimes things that you say offend people, even if you never meant to offend them. And that's fine too. You can't make everybody happy, man. And I suggest that you don't go on a journey of trying to make everybody happy. If you try to make everybody happy, you ain't never gonna be happy. You understand? So today's topic, we're gonna talk about celebrating the little wins, the little dubs. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got the big dubs, you got the little dubs. You know what I'm saying? These are the W's along the way. This is something that I talked about this week with my therapist, over the phone. And she asked me questions that had me fill out papers and shit, and I just like, man, it's a good topic. And she was like, well, you should talk about it then on your podcast. So shout out to my therapist. She's a big supporter on podcasts. She's one of the reasons why I started this shit, to be honest. But shout out to her, Lori McGraw. Shout out to you. Sometimes we can be so focused on getting better. Who the fuck that is? But we can be so focused on getting better that we don't take the time to acknowledge ourselves and the progress that we've already made. All we want to be is successful. And the goals and the small wins, those things give our life meaning and help us become better versions of ourselves. Better fathers, better brothers, better uncles, better sons, shit like that. But a lot of us have tried to reach a big goal, only to eventually give up. We felt like it was too much. We felt like we bit off a little more than we could chew. We felt like we were insufficient in some type of way. A lot of us have started, working towards goals, but over time, I felt like that mountain is just too high to climb. And as human beings, we built to naturally see the problems and easily punish ourselves for bad behavior. Poor performances are quickly condemned in our minds, and guilt can rise to the surface. And our mindset can also bring us down when we feel like we failed. And this shit usually results in giving up on dreams and goals. I remember when I was younger. I remember when I was younger, right? I was playing ball. Way before I played football, I played baseball. I was an avid baseball player. That's my first love. Still is. But I used to fucking hate losing in baseball. I mean, I hate losing, period. But in baseball, it was different because, you know, it's a very slow and methodical game. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really have a time limit. But I used to hate losing so much. I remember one time in Little League, I got so fucking mad. I struck out and I let go of the bat. You know what I'm saying? I used to swing hard. I used to swing hard as fuck. I used to crowd the plate like Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas was one of my favorite baseball players. Big Hurt. We used to crowd the plate. I used to crowd the plate just like him. And I used to swing hard, and one of my swings, I let the fucking bat go on purpose. Fuck it. And it ended up hitting the umpire. Now, the umpire was also my school principal. So, you know what I'm saying? It hit that nigga in the fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, I felt bad as fuck. But at the time, I was like, man, fuck it. You know, we losing. And I remember he sat me down because he was a friend of my family. You know what I'm saying? My mom sat me down. My dad sat me down. I was pissed off. Like, that was a playoff game. We really need to win and go to the championship. You know what I'm saying? Really wanted the championship. And a lot of us just got our heads down. And they sat us all down and was like, everybody need to look up, dry your face. I was like 8 years old. So everybody's in that bitch. I can't believe it. Shit like that, you know, you fucking cry, you cry the kid, you try to talk to them. I was that. And for me, being a stutter, that shit was like double time. Shit was like, you know what I'm saying? But he told us, you know, to sit down, be quiet, look up, and realize and acknowledge how the feeling of losing feels. He told us to learn from it. He also taught us ways how to learn from our losses. Take whatever you did today, think about it. And think about things you can do better to prevent you from having this feeling. Now, sometimes you're just going to lose. You in team sports, you ain't by yourself, so everything's not one person's fault. But whenever you lose, take the opportunity to recognize what you did and to make yourself better. So that's what I did. You know, those lessons, they stuck with me. Take what I did wrong, learn from it. Take what I did wrong, learn from it. Ah, shit. Sorry about that shit. It's mountain dry. Smoking all day. All right, so I just took those lessons, that lesson in particular, and I just kept it in my mind all the time. Even when I started playing football, I started doing other sports and other activities, whether it was choir or orchestra or football or anything I did. How can I get better? And I used to be so hard on myself, and still to this day, I am hard on myself, and I have to relax. Like, if shit is not where I want it to be, I'm not just gonna fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Even shit recently, I've had live streams playing on YouTube, but a few things didn't happen, and it's not what I want to happen. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like a certain setup. I thought about my topic, wanted to change it. Some bullshit happened. I didn't feel like it. Just something always seemed to get in the way. I made an excuse, you know what I'm saying? But that's something that I'm still working on. See, a lot of folks, you know, they they listen to my podcast, think that I got it. I'm saying like I got it all figured out or some shit, and I don't. Trust me, I'm the last nigga that you think got it out, figured the fuck out. But I'll be a fool not to acknowledge my lessons and not to even talk about things that I always go through. When I have conversations with, without my partners, maybe, a few of them got podcasts, listen to each other podcasts. A lot of podcasts are similar, you know what I'm saying? Talk about different stuff, but similar, in the realm of, mental health and self-care and all that shit. We talk about this shit, you know what I'm saying? We chop it up, because nobody preaches to us to celebrate ourselves when we make the small victories. Of course, everybody has the big victories, you know what I'm saying? The big goals that you reach, but just because you're not at that big goal yet shouldn't mean you shouldn't acknowledge the progress that you already made. Just because you're not where you want to be at in life doesn't mean you shouldn't acknowledge the progress that you've already made. And you should celebrate yourself more. Don't matter what the fuck it is. If you're able to be alive, you have something to celebrate. If you're able to get up in the morning, go work out, or just wake up and fix you something to eat, celebrate that shit. If man, my bad, I thought about something. Anyway, we have to focus on celebrating ourselves a whole lot more. We have to love ourselves a whole lot more and not be so fucking hard, man. This fucking world does us no favors. It does us no favors in the sense of helping ourselves becoming a better us. There is a false image of what success is, what beauty is, what any of these things are. And because some of us don't meet those standards, sometimes it makes us feel like it ain't worth it. And we quit, we give up and shit. Like I said, the thing that I thought about was what my mama taught me. What she told me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I was playing football and we lost the playoff game in high school, my senior year. Second round. Bounced out that bitch. And I remember her telling me, I was like, I never get, you lose a playoff game, you be sobbing and shit. I remember her looking me in my eyes once I got to the car, and she was like, I know this shit was important to you. I know this was possibly the last football game that you'll ever play. But don't neglect the progress that you made. Don't neglect and don't. Like, yeah, did this shit hurt? Yeah, because everybody want to go to state and, go to, do all that shit, but respect what you've done. At the time, I wasn't trying to end that shit. Once I sat down and thought about it, I was like, yeah. I did exactly what I came here to do. Had fun. Played football at a high level. And I don't have no regrets. I don't have no regrets. Anything, I had to sit back and think about it. Like, I don't have no regrets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't have none. To be honest, I wasn't really looking to go to college for football. I just wanted to get out of South Dallas. And if that means football was the way, yeah, but I've always viewed myself much more than a football player, and that's why I never gave a fuck about not playing ball. It wasn't my life because I already proven to myself that I was much more than a ball player. And like I was saying earlier, if we have a poor performance, those are quickly condemned in our minds, and our guilt can rise to the surface, and our mindset can bring us down when we fail, or whenever we feel like we fail, and this usually results in giving up on all of our dreams and goals. Many people put the success of others down to luck or a natural talent that allows them to excel at what they want to achieve. And this can be the ease, but most of the time, it's also down to a particular mindset and way of looking at their goals as a whole. For instance, Thomas Edison. This nigga invented, allegedly invented the light bulb. I say allegedly because sometimes you stealing shit. But allegedly, this just happened for example. Alright? It's hard to tell. We got no film from back then. We can't run it back. But Thomas Edison is credited for creating the light bulb and almost 10,000 attempts to create the light bulb. That's a lot of fucking failures before finally finding success. And in response to all his failures, he said, I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that they won't work. And I can relate to that. Like, even going to get my CDL took me 5 times to get it. I failed 3 CDL tests here in Oklahoma. I failed 1 in Missouri. Well, I didn't fail 1. Yeah, fuck it, I failed. Yeah, failed 1. And on my 5th try, and I was down on my ass, my last dollar away from home, broke as fuck, out in Springfield, Missouri, getting my CDL. I had to go get it. I remember that whole day like it was yesterday. But once I completed that shit, I'm like, man, say. And the look of me coming back home to Stillwater off that however long ass bus ride from Springfield to Stillwater, man, the look of my family's eyes once I got off that bus, because I knew I couldn't come back. I can't come back home empty, nigga. Are you fucking serious? Laid off from the school system. Just went to school to work in the school, and some budget cuts. Don't matter how good you were, they cut off everybody that was under 2 years. So a whole lot of the newbies, you know what I'm saying, got cut the fuck off immediately. Didn't know what to do. Failed 3 tests in Oklahoma. failed one test in Missouri. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, man, I had to fucking go through it, dog. But to come back and say, I did this shit, you know what I'm saying, meant a lot to me. To see a look in my family's eyes, let them know, I told you. I'm a man of my fucking word. I'm a man of my word. I told you when I left, I'm leaving for a purpose. I was leaving to go get my CDL. And here I am 2-3 weeks later, you know what I'm saying? I came back with my CDL, you know? And I've been driving trucks for about 5.5 years. You know, our lives changed. We were struggling, you know, we were struggling. We wasn't living, we were just struggling. And we went from struggling to living. So much that my wife didn't have to work. You know what I'm saying? Kids was good. The shit was lovely. But I had to accept the wins that I had along the way. Yeah, I failed 3 times, you know, before. But every time I failed, I got better and I learned something. Even that 4th time, I was up in Missouri, it was pouring down fucking rain. And I failed that test. I couldn't see shit. You know what I'm saying? But for every reason, I fucking failed. You know, this shit's essentially, you know, hit cones and all type of wild shit. You know what I'm saying? All type of wild shit, man. That 5th time, though, I was swinging and banging in that bitch. You understand? And that feeling, I'll never forget that feeling. You know, that's why. Can nobody tell me? You know, can nobody tell me shit? Can't tell me shit. You know, anything that I'm going through, even whatever I'm going through right now, I can get through it. I just gotta find a way, and I'll never stop trying to find a way. As long as we never stop trying to find a way, we gonna run smack down in the middle of something, cause something gotta shake. But if you give up, you never fucking know. You know, because it's very easy for us to put ourselves down for the small mistakes and failures. But what about our small wins and successes? You know, the irony of this is that although we easily feel negative about failing, we almost never celebrate our successes. And this is exactly where the magic lies. Realizing that our big goals aren't going to happen overnight in the next week or shit. Fuck it. It may not even happen the next fucking year. But that's okay. And we always tend to focus on the end goals rather than the small and significant steps we take to get us there. This is why it's important to acknowledge and celebrate the small wins. And the problem with not doing that is we end up diminishing our own motivation. And motivation is the fuel that keeps us on the right path, and it gives us the strength to soldier on, you know what I'm saying, through all these tough times. And lack of motivation usually arises when we are very, you know, we ain't quite sure, we ain't really confident in how far away our goals are from where, let me say this, okay, shit. From where our goals are. Fuck that. Rewind that shit. Bring it all the way back. A lack of motivation usually arises when we are unsure how far away from our goals we are. And we sometimes blindly believe that our goal is still so far away when it can actually be just around the fucking corner. But that's something that we'll never know if we all fucking give up. And therefore, it's very important to make sure you celebrate your small goals along the way. Acknowledging small wins sparks the reward circuits of our brains, releases chemicals that give us the feeling of pride and happiness, making us want to go further in our endeavors, whatever they may be. And the appreciation also plays a big part. A lot of times it's played down in our lives. We often forget to appreciate what we've done and what we have. And appreciating our small wins and the small steps that we take can be the fucking difference between failing and succeeding. And appreciation can also, you know, this means a whole lot. You know, not only when you know, just the validation that you get from appreciating yourself. I mean, it's fine to take, you know, to have, you know, to receive appreciation from others, but when you appreciate yourself for what you've done, everything that you've been through, nothing nobody can say to you that affects you. That's why I always say you have to mind your mental to be monumental, because you got to protect the path that you've already walked and the path that you are still walking to being a better person. Protect that path at all costs. You know? Should never be ashamed of protecting something that means something to you. Your walk, your stride, whatever you want to call it. You should always be proud of yourself. Because if anybody else gonna do it, who will? And can nobody else go harder? Can nobody else go harder for you than yourself can? You know what I'm saying? Mind your mental to be mind your mental. This is the True Appeal Podcast. Much love. God bless. Back to this bitch.